We are back with day 6 task of Advent of Cyber 2021. Today's task is named Patch Management is Hard. In this task, they have covered about file inclusion vulnerability. You can read through to understand the basics of file inclusion vulnerability. I am going to skip to the questions. Alright, so let's get to the IP address and see what our website is made of. You have to be connected to OpenVPN for this. Okay, so it might show you this 542 bad gateway. It just takes a little more time to get active. So you have to wait a minute or more. And so here we are at their website. And since this challenge is about file inclusion and we are looking at the URL with a file being mentioned, let's try to change that and see if we can access other files using this URL. Let's try to open the user information file. And we see that they have displayed the content. Since I have confirmed that file inclusion is available and this is a PHP based website, so I try to see what are the contents of a file called .htaccess. Now this file stores all the informations about the settings of a website, and you can see there are various options like PHP flag, display startup errors, and you can see this on button. So this means that display startup error setting on their website is on, and just like that they have these things on which are vulnerable. Allow URL fopen is on and allow URL include is on. Now since I saw allow URL fopen, I thought of RFI. What is RFI? Remote file inclusion. In this, instead of trying to open a file that is existent on a server, we try to open a file from another server for our malicious content. Let's try to open a PHP reverse shell directly. First I will Google a code for PHP reverse shell. PHP reverse shell, and I like the PHP reverse shell by Pentest Monkey. You can just go to the GitHub page for Pentest Monkey and download this PHP reverse shell.php file. I have already done that. You can see that I have already stored the reverse shell file in a folder that I created. Edit this file to our requirement. My IP address for tryhackme server is this. Let's copy this and paste and make this port to 444. Save, close. Alright, now I'm going to open a netcat listener at 444. Now since I have stored this file here, I am going to create an HTTP server using Python so that I can access this on my network. Python 3, and we have opened the server. Now let's get back to our page, and what I am going to do is try to open my PHP file from a web server. Since I have started HTTP server, I can access them. HTTP, my IP that I just copied into reverse shell 8080, since I started the Python server on 8080 port, and then the name of my file. Let's enter that and see if anything happens on port 444. And weirdly we got the shell on PHP. Sometimes you don't get a shell directly from entering a .php file. Instead of putting this php reverse shell.php file, you have to enter php reverse shell.txt because they block accessing .php file using redirection. And in case of txt file, when you access that, since a PHP file is trying to access a txt file, the code inside of it gets added to a PHP and it acts as a PHP file, upon executing which we get a reverse shell. Now that we have reverse shell, let's do ls. We are in the top directory. Let's cd to where www-html, enter ls, and we have all the information that will be required to enter in answers for the questions asked in tryhackme. Now I solved this question very fast. You were supposed to learn a lot about local file inclusion and getting remote code execution using local file inclusion, but they have already taught that in a very beautiful walkthrough video attached to them. So I decided to teach you another method for that. To read more about local file inclusion and other things that includes in file inclusion vulnerability, you can read from these two websites. Payload all the things file inclusion. This is the link. I will provide it in description. And then book.hacktricks.xyz, and this is Enumeration. They have discussed all the attack methods that they are discussing in the walkthrough. After watching the walkthrough video that TryHackMe has provided, I would suggest you to go through this and try all the attacks that they have mentioned. Like, instead of putting .htaccess where I did put this file, and then try this and all the other things that they have mentioned here. This add more means add more of these dots, and then some other attack if these two options were turned off. And they have also discussed wrappers. They have discussed only the PHP filter wrapper, but if you try this other wrapper like data and input, they will also work to get you a reverse shell. Alright, let's get back to answering the questions we were asked. Deploy the attached VM, and what is the entry point for our web application? It was ERR, the entry point to perform and read the flag at C flag. We can read that by our reverse shell cat. We have the answer. Copy, paste, enter, and then use PHP to the source code of index.php. What is the flag value? Flag variable value. So we need to read the index.php. So just do cat index.php, and to make it even better, you can just use grep thm as it is included in all the flags. Alright, I made a mistake of writing small thm. You have to use that capital THM, and this is the flag, our answer. And then it also says the login credential PHP files path is mentioned in index.php. Find the credentials, meaning I have to read the whole index.php file. And when I enter that, they tell me this creds.php. So and inside include, let's ls again, and we see a folder called include. cd to includes, enter ls. We have to read creds.php, enter, and we have the username and password. Copy this. The format is username, this, then password, username, colon, submit. Now use the credential login in the application. Help MuxKitty to recover the server's password. What is the flag? Instead of doing this on a website, how about you do it on terminal? You can just come back to the main directory of web page by this command, and let's get the recover password.php. Password.php, enter, and it says that the passwords are stored in sensitive data recovery. Let's copy this and then try to cat, and we get all the password we need, and this is our flag. Copy, paste, enter, and again it asks what is the host name of web server. After getting remote code execution, you can just type host name to get the host name. Voila, we have completed the room. A good habit is to always terminate the machine after you have used it. So let's end this video here.